Motherfucking plumbing, man.
You found our show, so come on in and take a seat. Warrior class, we got the keys. Dun, 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 dun. To get you where you need to be, just study our show, and you're gonna grow like crazy. Watching you will see. Dun, 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 dun. Warrior class, we got the keys, just watch our show. 'Cause it's for you and your babies.
Welcome to Warrior Class.
Where the teachers would pass.
And you will too, if you pass.
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
Right.
Because
No.
oh, is that right?
I'm
Okay.
like, what is that?
It must be. Is it this? I'm scared to move it up. We got a shadow.
Yeah. Let me see. Is it this?
Yeah.
I think it's light. Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
All right.
Can you bring up our chat, Bob? I can see all the wonderful people who are joining us today. We appreciate y'all. All right.
Emmanuel Briggs, Eugene Mason, Jadarian. Peace.
Jadarian, I hope you enjoyed the candid recording that we had of class. I put a part 2 up yesterday. And that is candid because, like I said, we didn't even know we was recording. I meant to record, but then we decided not to and then recorded anyway. So did some edits and we put that out. If you don't know what I'm talking about, that means you are not part of our Patreon and you should join our Patreon. But so we did that and hope you guys enjoyed it. So real quick, I want to send a rest in peace. My first cousin passed yesterday, Donnell Bennett. So rest in peace to him and my family. His my aunt, which is his mother, they grew up. We grew up right next door from each other. So he was battling a special kind of sickle cell. And it's funny because only 2% of people with sickle cell have this special type of sickle cell. I don't know the name of it, but him and another one of my first cousins that passed. Neither one of them was supposed to live, I think, past 4 years old. And she lived to be 40 and he lived to be, I think was about 68, if I'm not mistaken. So they both, beat the odds. Every year they would tell my younger cousin that he stays with with his brother. He moved in with his brother, which is my younger cousin. And he was just telling me, because I was just home for a workshop, he was like, man, they say every year they'd be like, he ain't gonna make it, he's gonna make it. So, I'm glad he's no longer dealing with pain. I appreciate that, Jadorian and Emmanuel Briggs. But I'm glad he was. Hope he made a safe transition, and I'm glad he's not in pain anymore, because that was a painful way to be. And I notice always the people that deal with the most pain are the people that never complain. So I just something I just always notice with people that are always dealing with stuff like that. They really bite it and they just move on. So yeah, shout out to rest in peace to him and praise be upon him. And if you don't know, also we were in Wilmington, North Carolina, me and Baba and Amaniki, and I did a workshop. It was my first workshop alone. Of course, Baba was present, which was good for me, but it went really good. So I'm excited about that and doing more workshops in the future. And we're probably going to probably do one here in Atlanta in the next maybe month or so and see how that goes. So I hope everybody's doing good in the chat as I give people time to log in. I did want to mention some news, and if there's some news that you guys want to bring up, let us know. Let us know. We will cover that or talk about it. As you know, I'll let Baba come back and do his regular intro, but it's the MCMAPs, MACP. I don't know how they say the acronyms, but that's what this show is about. We're going to break it down and look at these programs that are designed to teach combatants to protect themselves, and going to break them down and see how we can make it and actually survive an encounter from these type of individuals, which I think is funny that we always in synchronicity the way we are, because there's been I don't know if you guys have seen it, but there has been a few posts, and that's my news for today. There's been a post about not insurgents, but people realizing that there are these militias, these all white militias that are.
That's what I was coming to talk about.
Yeah. So
wow,
there's these militias that are out, and there's always been militias. If you don't know that, you can go to YouTube and actually just put in militias in each state. There's militias that train. That's been like that for years and years, but there's an insurgents, and it's funny. This is the white people is actually reporting it. It's like one guy saying that they were in my backyard, which just meant he could see them. They wasn't actually training in his backyard. And this other white guy was talking about how we need to get prepared for them. And the funny thing is the comments that I received. So I posted the white guy talking. It was a black woman, actually. It was her post, and you see her face in it, but she's letting the guy talk. And I'm going to read these comments. I won't. Oh, that's nice. I'm not going to put the names on it. The names have been changed to protect the guilty. So the first response I thought was wild is this person put, it's his responsibility as a white man to work on that. That's a them community problem. And I'm like, okay. The two things can be true at the same time. Maybe it is a problem that he should work on in his community. But being that we're the targeted audience for this for their training, I think we should be we might want to be concerned about that.
Right.
So that was the first thing that was kind of alarming to me. And this person is I don't want to misquote, but this person is a doctor of Black studies. So I thought that was a little wild. And then the comment under that was right. And we definitely ain't scared. So they need to keep training. But I hear them. And I was just like, so first I responded to her. I was like, so if we get attacked and massacred, then who problem is it then? And so no response, of course. And then I respond back to the person that said, right, we definitely ain't scared. They, all capitals, need to keep training, but not us. We good though. So then I said, we shouldn't be scared of anything. No one should be scared of anything, but we should definitely be very concerned. I said the problem is I think about 85% of Negroes aren't trained, prepared, or concerned with anything except
we're in shape.
Right, except money, entertainment, and sex for the most part. We're delusional as a group. I think somebody, and we think somebody is scared of us. So that was another one. So the last comment from this gentleman was, so this other person said, boy, they push this fear of white folks so good. And I thought about that. I said, boy, they push this fear of white folks ish so good.
Okay.
And so I said, why do you say that? There's a militia in every state. You can watch them, and you can watch some of them train on YouTube. I don't see the push of fear. I see untrained black folks, unprepared, unbothered, like we aren't actively in war.
Right. Doing the electric slide with fans.
Right. But don't know or acknowledge it.
You know, like.
So this is the one person that responded back. This person responded back and said, I don't think black folks untrained. I think we are trained. We train to fear white folks. We are prepared and we training in the hoods all over America. It might not look like training on the outside, but it's definitely training going on. So I responded to this person, which I've met before. I said, I need to see it because I totally disagree. Every Negro I know thinks they can beat the white man's ass.
Well, now I agree as far as he said we train to
fear white folks.
Yeah.
I do believe that. Now we are definitely trained to fear. We train to fear, but on the outside, we think I don't know one black dude that don't think they can beat almost every white dude up. Even the ones they see in MMA, they just think they. And
I'm sorry, the thing that you used to say about how you used to be raw in high school,
right?
You know,
yeah, because you whip ass all through high school. You just feel like that you the man or the woman, and so I said, most Negroes I know are untrained, out of shape, and have zero urban survival skills. I don't know any Negroes. I use Negroes. Any Negroes besides my USPI folks that can run a mile, have bug out in bags, have emergency plans, and some of us can't even. We got to get back in shape ourselves. Have emergency plans for our families, or train under stress and duress. Most people I know over 40 have critical health issues. I can't speak for hoods all over America, which I don't see how anybody can. But and we do that a lot. We just speak for all men, all black women, all black people, all hoods, all. But anyway, most people. I was just saying, I can't speak for hoods all over America, but I do know. I don't know any Negroes personally, besides the ones I train with, that know how to really even shoot properly. And I know zero people besides the people I know personally that even train with edge tools. So, person responded back, I know, but I'm saying we got the biggest thing. Just need some training on love and self, but we got it. I don't know what that means.
Even if we love self, we still get our ass whooped.
With all the love in our heart, with all the love, we get put out with love. So yeah, that's I think this is the responses on here are the exact reasons why most people don't train. And one, delusional. Two,
delusional.
They got
delusional. Three, seriously delusional.
Right.
And then four, ego.
Right.
The ego keeps us from wanting to accepting the fact that you don't know what you don't know. Like, you can't accept the fact that you ain't trained, and that there's people out there who train, and you want to. And delusional again. I don't have to work out. It's in me. It's natural. My daddy used to whip ass. You know what I'm saying? My brother used to knock niggas out in high school. What? You know how many what?
Right.
I done slap people. They ain't do nothing. Yeah. And my
stepdaddy with my real daddy in the slap box fight.
Yo, our girlfriends are grabbing our muscles. Ooh, they pumping us up. They giving us the massage. Daddy, you're so strong. Don't beat them up. And we really are. We in bad shape, man. I don't like to say things like, because I don't want to cast no spells on us, but we really need to think about our personal life, where we're at personally.
Well,
with this thing, man.
Two things. I was at a comedy show doing executive protection, and they let the person I was protecting in his wife, all of us in there, in first. And so this one chick was like, man, baby, go up there and talk to them. And, we need to go in too then, because we've been waiting in this line. And I said, that's not going to work well for you.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, baby, don't whoop him, baby. Don't whoop him. Don't whoop him. Just talk to him. I said, he can whoop me. He can come up here and whoop me if he wants to.
But that battery, boy, that battery.
She said, no, baby, don't. I said, please let him come up here and whoop me. I'm gonna
be
whoop
careful
his
with
ass.
that.
Now, and then another thing, I had a friend of mine's student. She was talking, and we were talking about Kathy Long. Kathy Long used to be the kickboxing champion. Now, Kathy Long could run 10 miles of stairs while breathing in an aspirator and keeping the ball
talked about
up.
this before.
She could bench press 250 pounds, and that's strong for a woman.
Oh, yeah.
That's strong.
She
for
was
man.
undefeated. She ended up fighting this woman, and it went 2 rounds. And she was shocked. Why did it go 2 rounds? Because I always beat people in 1 round.
Right.
It went 2 rounds. She found out because she was pregnant.
It's a bad woman.
So this sister, who had been training in Taekwondo for 3 months, so I could whoop Kathy Long. I could whoop her. I said, what? She said, oh yeah, I could beat her. I said, why? She said, cause she white, and I'm black.
Yeah.
Like of course, I said, sister, I know martial artists who've been training for 10, 15 years can't beat Kathy Long. But you can beat Kathy Long. And they're all black. But you can beat Kathy. And men I'm talking about now.
Right.
But you can beat Kathy Long. I said, no, Kathy Long will whoop your ass in and out of that ring.
People do.
So don't do that to yourself.
It's also, it's funny. Like I said, when I just came from out of town. I came from Tennessee last night. I was there for 5 days and away before that as well. We did warrior class from another state last week. But I was supposed to be taking my son ziplining. And we did some hiking, around the Lookout Mountain area. And I had been hearing that same thing that Belay's talking about militias training in Tennessee in particular.
Yep.
So I kept, I was very on guard, and I just kind of really, when it came to the ziplining thing, like, if I don't know who's running this thing,
right,
but if it turns out to be someone who wishes ill for us, it could really turn bad for us.
Right.
But I still went ahead and paid for the zip lining, talked with my son about it and all of this. And what ended up happening is they didn't have, for some reason, the website let me schedule an appointment, but they didn't have it that day. So they refunded me the money, and I just took that as a sign, like, okay,
exactly.
All these feelings that you've been feeling, just forget about trying to do that. Forget about trying to be out there that deeply. So that was one of the things that I came in to bring up here, how we need to be more on guard because, these folks, they've been trying to set it off for a while. Right. And the thing I was going to say about us, and it's something that I bring up from time to time, that I have noticed in certain camps of Black men and Black women, is this uncheckableness, particularly sometimes with Black women. But, like Baba was talking about how you can beat this person. Like, nobody can tell you anything. It doesn't matter how ignorant you are. It doesn't matter how much you lack knowledge and whatever thing it is, no one can tell you anything. And that's not going to end well for us. And in the words of Baba, it's not going to end well for a lot of us. The fact that no one can actually come to you and say, hey, you were wrong about this. We need to move forward in this direction.
So my cousin, which is this is a woman, and it's like she was saying, I was talking to her and she was telling me how she was into, vacations, traveling and swimming. And she was like, she hasn't like been around me since I was maybe like 10 years old. And did I say this last show?
No.
Okay. But you know what I'm talking about. She had been around me since I was about 10. And she was saying, I want to go swimming right now, but the pool is so cold. I'm not going to go. She's like, but I know you jump right in that pool. So I'm thinking to myself, why would I do that? So I say, I wouldn't jump in the cold pool unless I had to. And she's like, no. I know you. You're a daredevil. You jump right in that pool. You say, oh, that pool is cold, and you jump right in it. And I didn't say anything back. I'm just thinking to myself, how are you going to tell me about me? Like, how do you know? And so that is one thing. And for the men, it's the same thing, but it's an ego thing with men. And it's like this. And I had 3 friends. We're talking about being able to run fast. It's me, Tori, Dee. Baba just met Dee. So Dee, you know too. So Dee actually can run faster than me. Always, he's a very fast runner, but he's stiff. But he's very fast. But we 40. We 40 years old in Riverdale talking. I know for a fact these dudes ain't been moving in 15 years. So I say, look, I'm fast. I can beat all of y'all in the 40 right now. I beat all of y'all in the 40. I don't think I started training. Maybe I just started training, but I was always kept in shape, a decent shape. So they finally was like, well, let's see. Because I knew for a fact they were all faster than me before. We get out there. We supposed to be running a 40, speed bump to speed bump. After about the first 10 yards, both of them pulled the muscle. 10 yards, both of them pulled the muscle. And the thing is...
or said they pulled the muscle.
No, they probably pulled. You're right. But the problem is we have a delusional. Again, we don't even think about the last time we ran full speed. Everything when you get to a certain age seems like 5 years ago. A comedian said that when I was young, and I was like, what are you talking about? And now that I'm at that age, everything seemed like it happened 5 years ago.
Well, running, I did beat all of my students. So.
Again, you keep it moving. It ain't like you sit around for 20 years and then say, I can still run. You see people on IG all the time busting their tail because they trying to show somebody they can still flip. They can still do this and do that. If you ain't done something, you ain't going to do it.
Well, when
thank you for the condolences.
After my wife had Yay-Me, I think it was Yay-Me, or maybe an day. After she had Yay-Me, she all throughout the pregnancy she wanted to flip. So I guess Yay-Me wanted to flip, but after she born, she's like, I'm gonna hit this backflip. I said, no, baby, don't hit the backflip right now. And we were shooting a video too. Somebody hit this back. I said, no, you probably don't want to hit the backflip yet. She said, oh, I can do it. I said, you haven't been doing a backflip for a whole year. You haven't been doing a backflip. And that's just a year. Yes. Imagine 20 years.
Like folks be thinking.
Pregnancy changes you too.
Right.
In very ways that are difficult to tell.
Right. And it changed her. She tried to do that backflip and bloop, landed right on her face. I said, dear.
Very odd, the changes.
I never backflipped before, and I wanted to learn recently. And I remember telling you that. Mm-hmm. It's the way you look at me. Like, you ain't done it before. You might as well figure something else out now. Like, it's a little, you know what I mean? And also, we do have to be, nobody wants to say things like age appropriate. Some things we have to consider our age in. And that's just how fast you can heal. That's what I mean. How fast you can recover if you haven't been stretching. Like some things we just have to really think about and really be sensible. Yeah. So I hope this inspires some people. Matter of fact, I think we inspired Eugene Mason because he just joined our Patreon. So thank you very much, Mr. Mason. We appreciate you. We hope you find the information valuable. Absolutely. And we will definitely I will be posting some new a new video in the next couple days or so, I'll give you some time to digest what we have up there now. And if you have any questions, again, please let us know.
Yeah, greetings, Eugene.
We'll be glad to discuss
it,
it,
brother.
It's crazy how it feels that nowadays. It feels like that nowadays. We used to do stuff like that all the time in the '90s, and not be concerned the racists would try to do us harm.
Yeah,
but it depends on where you live now.
No, I was about to say, how old were you in the '90s? Because that's why you felt carefree. I was in the '90s. I was in my teens or 20s. So I ain't thinking about white folks. I am, but I mean, I'm not thinking about it like that. They can't hurt me.
In the '90s, I was in my 20s, late 20s.
Right. I was on some Malcolm X. Now just came back
and ended up. I was 26 in '94.
Raising children. I mean, I know you were about it, but
you've been raising children since you were about 7 years old.
That's since I was 19. But I'm from Chicago. Chicago at that time was the most segregated city in the world. Racially segregated. I don't know how it still is, but I don't think so. But we would go to Marquette Park and get killed.
Right.
Not in the nighttime. I mean, anytime. We go to Marquette Park and we could get killed. Now, I knew two brothers who got, a house in Marquette Park, and that was bold. They weren't messed with, but they had to go in the house, then get in the car, leave, go to work, go in the house. You weren't hanging on your porch. You weren't hanging on your porch. You're right. You weren't going to the store on the corner. They weren't doing all of that.
They had to take.
Why would you want to live somewhere where you have
right?
And it's funny because I grew up, and he's seen where I grew up at, which was cool. But it was the same way as we had. It's one street, one road. It's called Chair Road. It goes down about 2 miles. And the funny thing is, the white folks actually stayed in the back, all the way in the back. They lived in trailers, most of them, right? We would go back there because the white kids had trampolines and stuff. We didn't have no shit like that. So we would go back there, and the white kids would love us to come on their trampolines, do flips and all that stuff. And we wrestled, and we didn't think about racism at the time. We were like 10, 11, 12. But when the daddy was coming home, when the grandparents came home, we knew we had to leave. We didn't it didn't resonate why. We just knew it was time to go. We knew we could never go in the house where all his games was. We never could go in there. We snuck in there sometimes when nobody was there, but we knew we wasn't supposed to be there. Now, did we know that was subconsciously? We knew that was racism, but on the outside, we just kids. But you felt it, and you knew. You just didn't identify exactly what that was. And a lot of parents back then, I talk about this a lot because parents back then in Wilmington, they just dealt with real harsh racism, and a lot of them chose to pretend it didn't exist once they got a job at GE, a job at Corning, or a job at DuPont, or Federal Paper.
Wilmington.
But I know that I just only speaking on that. They would move to the suburbs and just never talk to us about it, never say anything, and
that is so much to the detriment of your children. I have a cousin right now that is dealing with that in his life, and he doesn't really understand it. It's something that's difficult to talk with him about. But I did talk to his parents about it because I was an adult when he was growing up. He lived in the area that I live in now. The high school that he went to has been in the news because the teacher wrote nigger or something on the chalkboard. That is the high school that my cousin went to a few years ago. So, it's a lot to go into, but I tried to talk with them about how it is living in these areas and being the only Black person or being one of 20, when there's like 2,000 students in the school. And it's like it just fell on deaf ears.
Now, how much do y'all think is too much? Now, all of my children, let me see. Yeah, all of them, all 8. Not the 9th is Okikyo, she 2, but all the rest of them, they're shocked because I let Okikiola watch. She watched this show. Her favorite show is Baby John. Baby John. Baby John. And then and it's called Little Angel with some white folks. Then she also watches, she'll say, JJ, I want to see JJ. That's Coco Melon. My children, the rest of them are shocked because they were like, you letting them watch a white, family, letting her watch a white family? Because, and my daughter, Bami Tale said, that wasn't us when we grew up. We couldn't watch those white folks. Well, you did. You just don't remember because wasn't nothing else on TV.
Right. It just didn't influence you like that because what was happening in the house.
Right. So you did. You just don't realize that. Like you watched Super Y and shit like that. That I think
Kalu or whatever that show.
It's Kailu. Now they didn't watch that, but they watch Super Y. They watch Sid the Science Kid. Now those are black cartoon kids, but they with a whole bunch of white folks. I don't consider that a black show.
Right.
It's not. And when you're the only one, when they portrayed in the show that they're the only one or the only two, that sends a message to our children.
Now Kikiola watches Omoberry, that's from Nigeria. She watches she likes Akili, which is from, I think it's from Zimbabwe. Akili. So she watches that.
Bino and Fino.
She watches Bino and Fino, but that's old like a mug.
Tinga.
Like a Nasi.
No, I don't know about Tinga.
Tinga, she's gonna love Tinga.
My daughter watched a Nasi, even though that's old.
Yeah, a Nazi.
A Nancy.
A Nazi.
Oh, a Nancy. Oh, okay. I thought you said. I thought
she watched me beat the shit out of a Nazi.
I thought you said a Nazi. I'm like, damn.
Yeah, she watched a little Kanye every now and then.
They made Doc McStuffins for representation. Yeah, Doc McStuffins is black. She's never watched Doc McStuffins.
Elusive View said, I just got called a knicker the other day in East Cobb by some high school aged
So
kids.
we got some people in Georgia, Brittany and Elusive View.
That's crazy.
So you got called in East Cobb. Wow.
They probably thought they was being cool with you. I mean, who knows? Like that's how it was at my cousin's school. I'm telling you. Oh, the stories I could tell.
Now, when I was in school, I was in the bathroom and a child didn't know. And they happened to be Jewish children. And they were talking.
He said it was with a hard R.
And they said, we're gonna kill all niggers one day. One day we're gonna kill all these niggers. My daddy told me. And I walked out the room. I mean, out the bathroom stall. I said, let your daddy know he wrong and fuck him. And I think I was 10, 11. And they were like, I'm sorry if you heard us.
No, don't be sorry.
I'm like, I heard you.
Yeah, that's what they
know how to keep it quiet.
It's like I know we got to get to it, but we said, wow, it's like Dr. Francis Chris Wilson said, if you want to help us, tell us what y'all talk about, what y'all see about us when we ain't around.
Right.
And that's the kind of shit. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Tell us that.
That's Aaron. That's Aaron. Elusive View.
Oh, okay. Greetings.
Peace, Aaron. What's going on?
How you doing? So they doing it with the hard R out there, bro?
Boy.
That ain't right.
Classes moved to Thursday, Aaron, if you don't know.
Yes.
I left you a message, but I don't know if you're on Facebook. So just so you know, classes
they told Aaron,
you're
a scientist, nigger?
Scientist ass
nigger.
Let me jump into my last thing I wanted to say. A good thing about Tennessee. Yesterday, my son and I went to the Bessie Smith Museum. Bessie Smith was
my name is Bessie Smith. Yeah.
And it was a great museum. It wasn't really big, but the thing that they've done there is they have gone through the history of music in Chattanooga. So they have that. They have civil rights history from the area.
That's where we shot the black some black
It's
show
funny
that
that,
was
you
on
know,
the
it's funny
Underground
that
Railroad.
it's funny that that's owned by the militias.
Oh wow, probably. And they also have African history there, and kind of an extensive collection of artifacts. It is beautiful what they have done. They have, it's kind of a mishmash, but they have really been thorough. They have little kiosks that you can go to watch videos. They have interviews with people who are, some of them still alive, who, you know, were part of the civil rights movement there. One thing that I saw that I'm not sure if everyone is aware of Babu Mukasa. His government name is Willie Ricks, but he's from Chattanooga. So they actually had a part with him talking about his life and all of that. He's the one who coined the phrase Black Power first. That was Babu Mukasa, and that's Atlanta's.
Now,
I want to say Atlanta's own Babu Mukasa, but actually, I think he just recently moved to Africa.
are you planning to go to Tariq Nasheed's Black Museum?
What?
Because he's opening up
In Atlanta?
I don't think it's
Is it free?
in Atlanta. I don't think it's in Atlanta.
Oh, so I got to travel, and I'm sure I'm gonna have to pay to get in there, guys.
Right.
It
Yeah, I
definitely
think it's
ain't
LA.
just for the people.
It's L.A., right?
Yeah, I think it's in LA.
Oh,
Yeah, Tariq Nasheed's.
You know, you just made me think of something. So I was selling some
so go to
headphones.
Bessie Smith Museum.
I was selling I'm selling some headphones
and
online.
stay away from Tariq Nasheed's.
And the person that's buying them, they told me, they was like, I'm in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Where are you? I said, I'm in Atlanta. So there's like, he's like, well, can we meet here? And I'm thinking he's gonna have like something 2 hours out there. It was this plaza on Buford Highway.
Oh, okay. So you must have business in Atlanta sometime.
Yeah, but the plaza is one of those plazas that's owned by a group that you don't ever, no black folks don't ever be there. So now I felt I was like, so I looked at the plaza, I looked around, you know, you can go to Google, you look around, all this stuff. I was like, this is one of the plazas that one group of people owns everything there, and it's probably got their own security and all that. You know how Buford Highway is. If you don't, then you don't. But if you do, you do. So then I said, you know, why can't we meet? I found a McDonald's right outside the plaza. And I was like, how about here? And it's like, well, I'd rather meet at the plaza if you don't mind. And I just thought that was a red flag. And all I'm saying is be aware, man. Be aware when you're meeting people in places.
Marketplace pickups.
That's exactly where this was.
That,
This was on Facebook Marketplace. Because what happens is people can see your profile.
Right.
They see who you. If you look at my profile, it don't take just the profile picture. I forgot what movie that was where the black kid is on top of the Roman statue with the black fist. Like, as soon as you look at you know what I'm about. So I just be careful out there, y'all. Be careful. I'm gonna meet them because I need that money, but I'm gonna have somebody with me. I'm gonna make sure that I got the proper things in place, and I'm not gonna meet them where they want to meet at.
Yeah, bro.
I got them to meet somewhere else.
That's the most important thing.
And I'll probably switch that up 5 minutes to right then, and I'm gonna be there before them, and all of that stuff. So just be prepared, man, for whatever, because you don't know. We'll leave it. I'll leave it at that.
Train.
Please.
Join
our Patreon.
I only go to Buford Highway plazas with my whites or other minority friends. I actually am really fond.
You got white friends, Brittany?
Hey, you know, that's cool.
You sis, but you know who you are.
And don't change your voice, please.
You change your voice, Brittany. I already know. You change your voice.
Hey, guys! hey!
I do it all the time. Like, hey, how you doing? How's it going? You ever hear me do some shit?
When black folks do that, boy.
When black folks change their voice. That's a whole other document.
Yeah. All right, so this episode is Defending Against Rambo on Rebel Ridge. If you don't know, Rebel Ridge was a Netflix movie.
Yes.
Starring Aaron Pierre. And he's a martial artist who wrecks this whole town. I wish to God I could wreck a whole town. But, you know, and if you don't know Rambo, well, you something wrong. You living under a rock or something. But, well, maybe they don't know Rambo. Rambo. So his name is John. Yeah, some people, born. Yeah, John Rambo. Was Special Forces, Green Beret. he goes to a small town like in Rebel Ridge, and they harass him because he's a stranger in a small white town. That's what they do.
Played by
That's what they
Sylvester
really
Stallone.
do. Played by Sylvester Stallone. Yes.
Yeah, they harass.
And
they fight each other when around.
he wrecks the town.
Yeah, he really did.
He wrecks them, boy. And so that's the first one. The second one is called Rambo: First Blood. I believe. No, the first movie is called First Blood. The second one is called Rambo.
Right. I don't know what the third one was.
The third Rambo.
Rambo,
I made too many movies.
2.0.
So yeah, so that's Rambo, and in the movie Rebel Ridge, he actually was not. He was a Marine who was not stationed anywhere. He was stationed at the Martial Arts Training Center in the Marines. They realized that he had martial skills that made him more. Now, this doesn't happen in the military for real, by the way. But they realized he had martial skills that was so valuable, they kept him there as opposed to sending him out.
No, we're going to get you to do some killing. You got some real martial arts skills.
Right.
We got some special for you.
Right, they got some special shit for you. Most special forces turned into drug addicts. Very few of them turned back that training in dealing with the white man. How many special?
I always question when people just put out statements like that. You may know, I just don't. I don't. Maybe you did a study.
Where does your expertise come from?
Yeah. So,
or how many special forces?
And Rebel Ridge is a dope film.
Yeah.
Now, they know one special forces person.
Right.
Me. I used to be special forces. I didn't turn into a drug addict. Now you said very few of them turned back that training in dealing with the white man. Now I'll say that's true. As far as drug addicts, once we got out, I know several who got out of the 5th and the 7th, and the 10th. The 12th, the 12th is a reserve. They were alcoholics, but they were not. Well, I guess that's a drug addict. But like
most humans,
like most people in the military are alcoholics. By the way,
sorry, you don't care what we think, Norman. I care what you think.
I do not care what you think. I met plenty of them.
We're just asking you.
Norman Henderson.
Hey, buddy.
More information.
Okay.
Now my voice has to turn to that one. Hey, okay, you don't care what we think. Oh, wow.
Why are you here?
Right. Well, I was going to say that too. Why are you here then if you don't care what we think?
We care what everybody thinks in the chat.
I never watched Rebel Ridge.
I haven't seen it either.
It's a pretty
watch that.
Real quick before we. So Sylvester Stallone is the guy who played Rambo. I just seen him talking about Rocky, right? And he was saying, what's the guy, Michael B. Jordan? He's like, Michael B. Jordan came up. He came up to me and said, I'm part of the Rocky family now. He said, not really, because you ain't take the punch yet. And he's like, what's that? He's like, well, the first on the first boxing scene, everybody who played in Rambo, in Rocky actually got hit, and took the hit to see whatever to make it look real. That first big hit.
See what they made of.
Right. So, and this is just an example of how you think is one way, but you have no clue. This is a regular boxer. He's not super strong. You can go back and look at this. So he took the punch, and you can pull this up. When he hit him, he knocked him flat out. And it wasn't a big hit. It was just a bop, knocked him flat to the ground. He said, Rocky, Sylvester Stallone said, if you ain't seen stars yet, you ain't part. He said, I was seeing stars. I still remember what the canvas smelled like. It smelled like Lysol. And he never would have expected somebody who was smaller than him, didn't put a lot of powder. The guy said he used about 40%. He said, I don't believe that to this day. Yeah, because you never got hit. You never really got hit. Right. So just an example, you don't know something till it happens.
Norman says, I am a veteran talking from a veteran shelter in New York. I was born in Jamaica and served in the military.
Yeah, I'm a veteran too. Thank you for your service. And
we still care what you think, though.
Veteran. I care what you think. you don't care what I think, so it doesn't matter whether I'm a veteran or not.
Yeah, I don't care if you're a
you don't care. You don't care if I'm a veteran.
No, we just
God
messing with
damn
you,
it.
man. We just messing with you. If you haven't seen the show before, Norma, we will tease you in the chat sometime. We will get on, but we love everybody in the chat.
Right. Enough
until
respect, for you and your situation.
And it's the fact that he is speaking from a shelter with other veterans. He does have some, he has some input. He has seen, and he can make an observation on what he's seeing. So we do respect what you're saying. Yeah. We care what you think.
Now I'll say I have seen what I've seen.
Right.
And
so that's why we care what you think. No.
And I have not seen.
And that's what's up, Norman.
I have not seen the majority or any of my brothers being drug addicts.
And this is what I wonder: would they?
I also served in the Jamaican paramilitary force before I came here. Okay.
If they, if
he's still here,
if Black Special Forces folks was training, or even some of them were training,
and my father was Special Forces, and he was not on drugs. What did you say?
If there was Special Forces people training our people, unless they have a school or something like that, how will we know? If they training their children, if they train,
how will we know they're Special Forces?
How will we know if the Special Forces out there living in Chesapeake, Virginia, whatever? How do we know if he's not, or if he's training or not? That's around him. I'm guessing maybe they don't. Maybe they keep a lot of stuff they sell because maybe what they've been through, but we wouldn't know because they're smart enough not to.
Right.
There's certain things you never put on video,
right?
Just because of your understanding.
Now, I will say, I also know several operators who are now martial artists, martial arts instructors.
Because people would say, Baba don't deal with certain things because they don't see you talk about certain things. That don't mean you don't talk about and train and all of that stuff. You just don't put certain things on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's funny. One time I taught a security driving class, and one of the students said, "Damn, Baba got a hell of a skill set, And he said, "I didn't know he could do that." Yeah, because I hadn't taught you
right
yet. So I'm just go around.
Not everything.
Right. I know. I don't go around. Hey, I also know. Just like most people don't.
Right.
Most people out here to do the process the way. I don't know what he knows.
Yeah,
I don't know. I just know he fishes.
Right.
Since Jamaica is a British colony, we train mostly from that direction. Another white man's training. Prince 2045 of Must Listen.
Well, I mean, white folks training, they know how to kill some folks.
Right. They know how to kill. Yeah, they're good at that.
Main thing. Peace, Spider-Man.
So in Special Forces, we say the oppresso liber, which is to free the oppressed.
And Shinosky said to hit the like button. So thank you.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah. Hit the like button.
Please
subscribe.
Like button. All that stuff.
So the Army and Marine Corps have both developed martial art combat programs, which other military branches and several SWAT units worldwide study. Like when he said, they study with the British. Well, British Commando came in and trained with us. So they do that. And I know some sergeants and other officers who went over and trained with them. So that there is cross training. But I didn't do none. These programs go along with Army Special Forces and Marine Force Recon core responsibilities, which contains 5 missions: unconventional warfare, foreign internal defense, direct action, which is raids, ambushes, and sabotage, counterterrorism, and special reconnaissance. So those are the 5 missions in the core responsibilities of Special Forces. All right. And then you have secondary missions too, but those are the primary. These programs are designed to teach the combatant to protect themselves and others, but also to kill opponents if need be, or if they want to.
In the case of the Marines, the U.S. government has funded the Marine Corps martial arts programs Would you say MCMAP?
MCMAP.
Since 2002. The purpose of the program is not only to increase combat efficiency, but also to develop values like leadership in trainees. These goals are expressed through the MCMAP's motto, one mind, any weapon. Although MCMAP students study 17 different fighting styles that have been combined with Marine Corps philosophies, MCMAP students can ascend through different belt levels and eventually become teachers themselves if chosen.
The martial arts studied are Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, wrestling, judo, capoeira, sambo, Bujinkan, Budo, Taijutsu, excuse me, that was completely wrong. Boxing, savate, excuse me, kickboxing,
Ishinru karate.
karate.
And Ishinru, real quick, Ishinru was made by, not the Japanese, by a Mormon. You can go ahead.
It sounds about right. Muay Thai, Taekwondo, Kung Fu, Aikido, Hapkido, Eskrima, Sayop Kali, Jiu-Jitsu, Krav Maga,
Krav Maga.
Kendo, and Kobudo.
They just study all types of stuff.
Right. Marines are instructed in ethics and mental exercises in addition to effective techniques to use in combat. But we know, I mean, Krav Maga, that's Israel, right?
Yeah,
we
Krav Maga.
We know that there's cross training with Israel.
I just saw a post of them picking at the Nation of Islam people training, calling it patty cake. I said, not Krav Maga. It's picking on another martial arts.
Right, that's wild.
I was like, y'all the laughing stock of all combatants.
Right. And well, in the Nation of Islam, they do Sanukas Rule Jiu-Jitsu, and that was made by Dr. Moses Powell.
Rest in peace.
So,
if you were designing, if you were picking these the arts that they study, would you narrow it, trim it down some? I'm just looking at some of these like.
Yeah, I certainly would.
Like some of these, they could just take.
So
out.
I would do wrestling, judo or sambo,
right?
Boxing, like come on down. The screamer. I mean, screamer and Sayop Kali are pretty similar. I do a screamer, and that's it.
Yeah, I was thinking that's pretty much you cut a lot of this stuff out.
I mean, Kobudo is all weapons, so if you wanted to use Kobudo, you could use that. That's all Japanese weapons.
I guess they want to make sure they cover all their bases.
Hey, now Ishinru karate, that's wild. But I know then and have met them. Marine ethics. I'm sorry. I was offered to join the new Black Party. I guess you mean Black Panther Party, under a sister who is now dead. I decided not to engage them but a little. Okay, well.
Read between the lines.
But a little, read between the lines.
Nation of Islam.
I'm sorry. That's
have some in the ranks who were ex-military as well. Yeah, they do.
Definitely.
Yeah, like me. I was right. Marine ethics, like the ethics in Vietnam or ethics like in Fallujah. Now, teaching Marines ethics. They teach you ethics as a what in the world?
I'm just trying to take it down.
They teach you ethics. They teach the Marines ethics as a optic. But how many use ethics?
Right.
Now
think about religion.
Right.
how many of these white supremacists are
black people are good Christians.
Right.
Extremely religious people.
Them blacks online too, who's shaking their ass, looking back at it and shit. Those are Christians probably.
They got the cross. They got the cross right there between the cleavage.
Now, officially established by Marine Corps Order 1500 or 150054A. The MCMAP program trains Marines as well as U.S. Navy personnel that are attached to Marine units. However, Navy SEALs generally do not train in MCMAP, preferring arts like Eskrima Judo and Krav Maga. In terms of MCMAP techniques, the curriculum covers unarmed combat and improvised weapons, as well as rifle and bayonet techniques. In addition to hand-to-hand techniques, strength and endurance are improved through competitive team exercises like calisthenics, log carries, and boxing matches. Combat techniques actually only comprise about a third of training in MCMAP. Outside of physical development, students take classes to help train themselves mentally and ethically.
Ethically.
I told you, that's for optics. Topics include leadership, courage, commitment, and teamwork. Part of the program is also dedicated to warrior studies, wherein students learn fundamental combat tactics by examining notable warriors and societies that have been known to produce warriors, from the Apache to the Spartans. Another focus is combative behavior, in which Marines study interpersonal violence, rules of engagement, and responsible use of force.
There are 5 belt levels in MCMAP, beginning with the entry-level tan belt that requires 27 and a half hours of training time. The next level up is gray, 25 additional hours.
Now, every Marine knows tan level.
It's the basic training.
Right.
Next level up is gray, that's 25 additional hours, followed by green, which is another 25 hours. Then brown, 33 additional, and black, it's 40 additional. Black is always at the top. Similar to karate, the MCMAP belt, black belt, has multiple degrees, 6 of them mugs. Members of infantry are generally required to earn a gray belt at the very least. Marines that want to become instructors themselves can take courses to become a martial arts instructor. MAI, not MIA. Or a more senior martial arts instructor trainer, MAIT, or
MAIT.
or MAIs, wear 1 vertical tan stripe on their MCMAP belt, while MAITs wear 1 vertical red stripe.
I have a question, Baba.
Mm-hmm.
I know this is about Marines, but are in other branches of the military, is there a requisite like martial art or self-protection that they do, or is that
Only Army?
Only Army.
Yeah, so Army, which we're going to deal with, has MACP. But
Master P?
Yeah, Master P. But other branches will send people to train with the Army. I imagine with the Marines. Well, like I said, the Marines they train other Navy personnel that are assigned to the Marines.
Okay.
But MACP would train like some pararescue people, which is Air Force. That's the Air Force's special operator. That's their operators. They're called pararescue. Mm-hmm. And that's what they do. They rescue people that need rescuing, So.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Although the program has now been around for over 2 decades, the military has actually trained service members in techniques based in various martial arts forms for about 100 years. Before World War I, Marine boarding parties trying to capture enemy ships were armed with bayonets and sabers. However, with the advent of brutal trench warfare, Marines began to use unarmed combat techniques to get the advantage over opponents. After World War I, those techniques were standardized based on boxing, wrestling, SWAT,
mm-hmm.
and fencing.
SWAT is French kickboxing.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Officers who had learned Kung Fu techniques from Chinese American Marines spread their knowledge as well. In 1956, Gunnery Sergeant Bill Miller developed Miller's Combat Curriculum, a program based in many martial arts styles, including Okinawan karate. I know how to pronounce that. These techniques usually develop into the line or LINE system in the early 80s, which gave way to the Marine Corps Close Combat Training Program in the late 1990s. A few years later, MACMAP was formalized.
MCMAP.
MCMAP, excuse me.
A breakdown of techniques by belt in MCMAP is as follows. Tan belt. The tan belt syllabus focuses on the development of the basics of armed and unarmed combat. Students start with the basic warrior stance and falls are taught for safety. Then they move to basic punches, uppercuts, and hooks.
Sounds kind of familiar.
Basic upper body strikes, including the eye gouge, hammer fist, and elbow strikes. Basic lower body strikes, including kicks, knees, knee strikes, and stomps. Bayonet techniques. Basic chokes, joint locks, and throws. Counter to strikes, chokes, and holds. Basic unarmed restraints and arm manipulations. Basic knife techniques. Basic weapons of opportunity. In order to obtain a tan belt, the student must score 80% on their assessment. Students can fail no more than 10 techniques. If a student fails testing, they must wait a minimum of 24 hours before retesting. The tan belt syllabus is part of the basic school and recruit training curriculum.
You know, it's funny, Mr. Norman Henderson, he says, I stay underground, did not like the cameras pointed in my direction, still like that. You know, that's something that in this social media
Starve for attention.
Yeah, and it's kind of it's one of those things where you want, like, us as a school, we want to be present, but it's hard because I think warriors in general don't want the limelight or the camera like that. And there's no instructor in our school that wants to be in front, that wants to be video. As much as you hear us talking now and we run our mouth, you look at our pages and you're not going to see videos of us running our mouth and talking. Like, it's almost like I have to overcome that for the sake of promoting the school. I'm wrestling with that now. That's why I thought that was interesting you said that. So
it took my student Kunle 7 years to get me to film a YouTube video.
And when I met you and had the camera, it was hard. Everything is like, no, don't put this on. Don't put that. Don't. I had to start filling him out and learning when to film and what to film. Like, it's a dance. So gray belt. The gray belt syllabus expands on basic techniques for intermediate bayonet techniques, intermediate upper body strikes, including knife hand, chops, and elbow strikes. Intermediate low body strikes, including kicks, knees, strikes, and stomps. Intermediate chokes, joint locks, and throws. Counters to strikes, chokes, and holds. Intermediate unarmed restraints and arm wrist manipulation. I'm seeing an influx of grabbing people and those techniques off of grabs. It's ridiculous. Intermediate knife techniques, basic ground fighting, intermediate weapons of opportunity. I don't know if it's me attracting that or what, but it's going crazy on Facebook. In addition to the new techniques learned, the student must show knowledge of the previous belt by executing 5 techniques from tan belt. If a student performs any of the 5 techniques incorrectly, the student fails the evaluation. In order to obtain a gray belt, the students must score 80%, and the students can fail no more than 10 techniques. If a student fails testing, she must wait a minimum of 24 hours before retesting. Green belt is intermediate knife techniques, intermediate weapons of opportunity techniques, blocking, intermediate ground fighting with arm bars, intermediate bayonet training, intermediate chokes from the side, intermediate throws from the shoulder, low body strikes, counter to strikes, unarmed joint manipulation with enhanced pain compliance. Now, what is meant by enhanced pain compliance, Bob? They want to know. I know already.
Pain compliance. So if I catch you in this.
Pain, tap, tap.
Right. And I can make you walk. Let's walk over there.
Oh, okay. Right. Comply by pain.
Comply, right.
Brown belt includes advanced bayonet techniques, advanced ground fighting and chokes, advanced throws, unarmed versus handheld weapons or tools, firearm retention, firearm disarmament, advanced knife techniques. And then black belt first degree includes advanced bayonet techniques, advanced chokes, holds, and throws, advanced ground fighting, basic counter firearm techniques, advanced upper body strikes, including strikes and smashes, advanced knife techniques, pressure points, improvised weapons, and counterattacks. And the black belt second degree includes rifle versus rifle, short weapon versus rifle, and unarmed versus rifle. There are 4 additional degrees of black belt, which the Marines are hush hush about.
Norman Henderson says, man, I love the militant sisters. They did not expose me to unnecessary danger. It was all voluntary. You know, it's always going to be the black women that's going to lead in these groups, and whether it be grassroots organizations or revolutionary groups, it's always going to be the black women. I'll say that. I'll say that to not forever. Wow. So that's just something that's good. They're always going to be the leaders, and not the leaders, the movers behind the leaders. You know.
When the commander of the 2nd Ranger Battalion ordered them to reinvigorate the martial arts training program within the battalion, they quickly uncovered serious problems within the Army's existing combatives program. So now we're going into the MACP, which is Martial Arts Combatives Program. Martial Arts Combatives Program. So that's MACP. This is the Army's form. It's also called shrimp.
I was wondering about that.
Why it's called shrimp? Well, it's called shrimp because that's mainly in level 1. So you got 4 levels, but in level 1, you mainly just learn how to ground fight, particularly how to shrimp your way out of.
Makes sense.
Stuff.
Makes sense.
So they call it shrimp. Shrimp. I'm gonna learn to be a shrimp. That's what they talk about. But when the commander of the 2nd Ranger Battalion ordered his people to reinvigorate the martial arts training program within the battalion, they quickly uncovered serious problems within the Army's existing combatives program. There was the general feeling among the Rangers that the techniques would not work and that it was a waste of time. In general, the Rangers would rather have been shooting, road marching, or anything else that they felt could actually benefit them. Mm-hmm. During that time, the Army had a combatives manual. That's FM 21-150. That was written in 1992. But had no program to produce qualified instructors and lacked a for implementing the training within units. All they had was a vague approach that left it to the local commander's discretion. Like I was a martial artist, so I was told to teach everybody else. That's how it was done.
Wow.
Most soldiers laughed at the combative techniques they were taught in basic training.
Did they laugh at your techniques?
No.
You wasn't in basic training teaching.
No. I wasn't teaching in basic, but in basic training, I was known. So all the they I don't know how they knew, but they knew I was a martial artist. So
I'm sure
they would always ask me, what would you do this? Grab me and stuff. What would you do if I did this? What would you do? The sergeants, the drill sergeants would, So anyway, all they had was a vague approach that left it to the local commander's discretion. Most soldiers laughed at the combative techniques they were taught in basic training. Because basic training, you just taught how to block. It's just simple. Due to this indifference, the unit instructor became whatever martial arts enthusiast happened to be in that unit, like I said. And the training narrowed down to whatever civilian martial arts those people had studied during their time off duty. In most units, there was no training at all. This was the case in the Ranger Regiment, unless a small unit leader happened to practice martial arts. There was also almost no combative training.
Wow.
When they began to look for a better method, the instructors within the battalion practiced a variety of traditional martial arts: karate, jiu-jitsu, ninjutsu, boxing, wrestling, etc. Like, that's why I told you, the dude, we were talking, and he was like, "See, I was in the Army too. I was in the Army too. But I was in Vietnam." I said, "Okay, that's good, you know." He says, "I grab you like this." He grabbed me on my side. He said, "I'll snatch your rib cage out."
Somebody told him that,
Because he believes that he gets something like, and I told him, "Well, you better, because if you don't let go of my side, right, I'm gonna whoop your ass."
That's interesting to know that most of them really didn't have any hand-to-hand training.
No, they didn't have no hand-to-hand. I told you, my father was just beating people's ass. They were sparring, he was whooping their ass. I mean, you know, because other people didn't have no martial training.
That's crazy. So
they just had a lot of heart.
And well, that's what it takes too. That's what it takes.
Yeah. Takes heart and training.
Yeah.
Revolutionary will without revolutionary skill get a revolutionary kill. Yeah.
Jay Robinson, the head coach of the University of Minnesota wrestling program, himself a veteran era Ranger, came out to evaluate the emergent program that gave some valuable advice. He recognized that a successful program must have a competitive aspect in order to motivate soldiers to train, and that it must include live sparring in order to be useful in cultivating a combative culture. They began to develop a program based around wrestling, boxing, and various other martial arts they had learned, such as judo and Muay Thai. Eventually, after many different styles, they sent several men to train at the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu Academy in Torrance, California. The jiu-jitsu taught at the Gracie Academy fit many of the battalion's needs. It was easy to learn, had a competitive form, and was proven effective in the mixed martial arts arena. It did, however, have some problems. Gracie Jiu-Jitsu was principally designed for the venue that had made it famous, one-on-one arena fighting. Also, sports jiu-jitsu had great potential to change the art into something not oriented towards fighting at all.
So the Rangers developed the drill-based training program that has become an essential element in the modern Army Combatives, or MAC, program. As the system matured, they began to realize what made Brazilian jiu-jitsu techniques work, namely that you could practice them at full speed against a completely resistant opponent. They also began to draw from other martial arts that share aspects of this live training in order to fill the tactical gaps of pure Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
Like boxing and wrestling.
The classic Gracie plan of taking them down and submitting them works well in the arena, but in the real world, the tactics must fit the situation. This basic rice and beans approach to taking the opponent down and finishing them on the ground wasn't enough for the Army's needs. As the program grew technically, its success catapulted it beyond the battalion. At first, it moved to the rest of the Ranger Regiment, then throughout the infantry, and eventually, with the publishing of the new field manual, FM 325.150, which was in 2001, it became doctrine throughout the Army.
As they began to explore the various training methods of the other feeder arts, the ways they complement each other and expose each other's weaknesses became clear. The concept of positional dominance from jiu-jitsu expanded to other ranges of combat and blended with techniques from wrestling, boxing, Muay Thai, and judo, to name just a few. They also incorporated expert weapons fighting, as taught by the Dog Brothers, with Western martial arts and their own personal experience from years in the Rangers. By September 11, 2001, they had finally developed a totally integrated system of close quarters combat and laid a solid foundation from which to learn further lessons from the battlefield to come. By this time, they had already established what would become the U.S. Army Combative School at Fort Benning, Georgia. They had already, which is also where they have airborne school.
Yeah, this is interesting. What we're hearing right now. So basically, they ain't have shit together to this decade. I mean, it's 20 years.
Yeah. They had already determined the first two levels of combatives instructor qualification, which at that time was primarily based on mixed martial arts competitions, fused with the prevailing wisdom on close quarters battle, CQB.
I was watching some of the videos of what they do in the MCMAP training, how they like meet in the woods, and they have those I don't know what you call those things where you fighting with them. I guess to simulate your gun.
Pugil, they call pugil sticks.
Right. And, or they'll be walking through. I don't know what you call again when you have your gun and you're going through like the mazes or whatever.
Kill house.
And then somebody come behind you, maybe tackle you at the feet, and you gotta, it's like, man, this is kind of basic in a way. I didn't want to say, but I watched it. I was like, man, this is kind of basic stuff, like real. But anyway, in my army. When war started in Afghanistan, they began to conduct post-active interviews of soldiers who had experienced hand-to-hand combat. They created procedures and an interview format that drew out important lessons that might otherwise be missed. Among some of the many questions they had asked, what equipment was the soldier wearing? What was the tactical situation? In the years since then, they have conducted hundreds of these interviews and adjusted the curriculum to the new lessons learned. I imagine that it's gotten really tight and efficient in the past 20 years and kind of trimmed a lot of fat.
For instance, every hand-to-hand fight they have documented has involved grappling, but not a single one has involved only striking, although striking is always part of grappling.
So wouldn't nobody just knock a motherfucker out? Wow!
It always was a grappling situation.
Okay.
Also, around 30% of the fights end with gunshots. Fighting in an environment where everyone is armed means that the fight is most frequently over who controls the weapons. At the same time, they have continued to examine other sources for techniques. They have tapped into wrestling and judo expertise from various sources. Muay Thai from Manu To.
Yeah. Manu To teaches at Alliance Martial Arts here in Georgia, in Atlanta.
Oh.
Okay. Mm-hmm. David Rogers and Greg Nelson, weapons fighting from Mark Denny of the Dog Brothers.
Roy Rogers know how to wrestle.
And Western martial arts from Chuck Norris. From John Clemens. I thought Chuck Norris was the only Western martial artist. My bad.
In order to improve the hand-to-hand fighting ability of every soldier in the unit, it is necessary to systematically develop skills, movement, and a strong understanding of fight strategy. Beyond the basic techniques, which must be prescriptive by the nature of the challenge of teaching over 1 million students, the training must become conceptual more than specific. These techniques should be taken as examples of the type of strategies that work as the battlefield is constantly changing. Effective combatives training must be an ever-evolving process.
The U.S. Army Combatives Program defines a warrior as a man or woman who is willing to close with the enemy and use realistic effectiveness on the battlefield. Thus, Army combatives were developed with practical and effective techniques in mind.
The Army combatives' bottom line is the demands of training must mirror the demands of combat. If the two are different, it is the training standards that are wrong.
There are 4 different courses taught at the Combative Center. 4 different courses in MCMAP. First is Train the Trainer. That's skill level 1. That's a 40-hour, 1-week course. It is tailored for developing the instructor base necessary to get basic combatives to every soldier. Students learn to teach the techniques of basic combatives. The Army's goal is to have 1 skill level 1 trainer per platoon. So 1 skill level 1 trainer per platoon. Then it's level 2. An 80-hour 2-level course that builds on the skills introduced in the basic course. It is tailored to teach the more advanced techniques which illuminate why the basic techniques are performed as they are as they are, as well as the teaching philosophy method of the program. The Army's goal is to have one skill level 2 trainer per company. Okay, so one skill level 1 trainer per platoon, one skill level 2 trainer per company. And I'll break down what platoon, company, battalion is. Train the trainer skill level 3, 160-hour 4-week course that builds on the skills taught in the previous 2 courses. It is designed to take the skills that have been until now standalone and integrate them into unit level training. The Army's goal is to have one skill level 3 trainer per battalion. Okay. Train the trainer skill level 4. That's a 160-hour 4-week course designed to provide master trainers. The Army's goal is to have one skill level 4 trainer per brigade. Trainers at skill level 3 or higher are certified to teach all courses lower than their certification level. Skill level 1 and level 2 courses are now usually taught and participants certified at the unit level. Skill level 3 and 4 courses are usually held at Fort Benning, Georgia. A soldier who has a level 3 certification can certify other soldiers to be skill level 1. Soldiers who are skill level 4 can certify other soldiers to be skill level 1 or 2. Just so you know, a platoon typically consists of 30 to 50 soldiers. A company usually comprises 100 to 200 soldiers. A battalion generally has 300 to 1,000 soldiers, and a brigade has anywhere from 1,500 to 5,000 soldiers. A platoon is commanded by a second lieutenant, and it consists of 4 squads. A company is commanded by a captain, and that consists of 3 or more platoons. A battalion is commanded by a major, and that consists of 2 to 5 companies. And a brigade is commanded by a colonel or brigadier general, and that consists of 2 to 5 battalions. All right, so now you learn about MACP, MCMAP, and we're going to show techniques from both. And in just a minute, I'm about to take me a old man break.
I'm gonna need a young man break in a minute. But long time now, I never show up. We appreciate you, man. That's I realized that too. A lot of people, I learned this from on Facebook when I do a lot of wellness consulting on, and on Facebook I post a lot of the things that I show people as far as wellness. And every blue moon, I'll get people that comment in the inbox and they'll say, man, hey, I really appreciate, what you do on here. And I learned this and I learned that. And it helped me, get my blood pressure together, this, that, and the third. And I noticed that I've never seen this person like a comment, make a comment, like a post or anything. But they've been paying more attention than the people who actually like a post, make a comment, or do anything on the page. So a lot of times I take this time to send a shout out to the people who may not be in the chat box, but they always watch, they always check us out, and they're always, behind the scenes looking and learning. And, so we really appreciate that. So, because I do realize that there are people who don't comment, who are not in the chat, but are paying attention to what's going on. So we appreciate you, sir.
So you calling us bumbleclots, Norman?
So I wanted to say something. Norman was saying that he suffers from osteoporosis. So is there some advice? Amaniki is I call myself a wellness consultant, but Amaniki is very well versed in health and wellness herself. So one of the things I would suggest, I don't know if you're getting outside much, but the number one thing I always talk is sunlight, how important that is for your bones and for osteoporosis. And
water, making sure, check the little things.
Not drinking soda.
That too.
Soda is one of the main proponents of osteoporosis because soda pulls the calcium out of your bones. The phosphoric acid, is that what's called in the sodas? Is phosphoric acid? I don't know. Whatever acid that's in sodas, it definitely pulls the calcium out of your bones. the word bumbleclad is not always a curse
I
word.
know.
We say, she messing with you. She messing with you.
We know.
So yeah, Nora, make sure you get in the proper sunlight. Make sure you're not drinking soda. Make sure that this has been on my.
Pay attention to your nutrition. I know you said that you're in a shelter right now. That's one thing that I thought about when you said that you were suffering from osteoporosis. I don't know how much attention you can pay to the kind of nutrition that you're getting, but if you can, just make sure that you're giving yourself the best foods that you can.
Something that was on my mind when I first got here, on my way here, was to tell the audience is, make sure you're drinking more water than any other beverage that you drink. That's just one of the little tad bits that that you're at least doing something in the right direction. You want to make sure that if you drink, no matter what else you drink, I don't care if it's liquor, tea, whatever, you want to make sure that you drink more water than what that is.
Anything else. And try if you can, this is one thing that I've been working on too, is try to get your water early in the day. Maybe, and then if you want to have something else, at least you got all your water.
Right, and then you won't be waking up every 2 hours having to pee like I do. Boy, that gets on my nerves. Golly.
Jadarian said that yellow popping. I don't know if he's talking about my skin or he's talking about the.
Usually we say when yellow pop, we talking about Bob and the skin. So
basically everything. So,
all right, so
thank you, Jadarian. I appreciate it.
We're about to get into techniques. First, we're going to do smash. This is
I'm a young man myself, right now.
Was commonly taught from the beginning how to elbow smash a person. Now, we call that outside hammer, but it's an elbow smash. They call it elbow smash. All right. So we're going to teach that first. So get yourselves ready. Drink you some water, all that nice stuff.
Fruit too, Norman. Fruit does. I know. I'm sorry.
No problem.
But yeah, I'm just thinking of things. If you can, I know there's some great fruit stands in New York. Try to at least get yourself some of that. If you can, it's something that you can keep. You don't have to. People think of fruit as a high maintenance thing, but really, it's a very simple food. So if you have access to that, I would suggest trying to take in as much fruit as possible.
All right, you want to get into the
let's do the elbow smash. Absolutely. I'm coming at you, right? And
you can. I'll smash it. That's fine. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Trying to turn this around. You can put that. Turn it this way, and you can put that under there, and this one under the front.
Very high tech.
We got
setup. We have.
Y'all. We got
just
bear
with us for just a second. And our main technician took a powder.
Yeah, y'all can't see what we setting up here, but this is high tech. All right, so elbow smash. Forget about these slats for the floor. My wife is doing a floor at her shop.
This is the Baba breaks these with his
sword. I break the whole stack. Yeah, the whole stack. So elbow smash. One, I want to put her against the wall or wherever I'm gonna put it, right? So she throws a punch or what have you. I bring that punch down, and then I hit her with an outside smash. Right. So now I'm gonna bring her this way, but then I'll show it this so y'all can see. But anyway, once again,
you want to switch places?
But they still not gonna see you when you come off.
Oh, okay.
Your daughter was trying to attract me with her divine cuteness.
So once again, she strikes, boom. I knock that down, and then I smash. So I run into her. I don't just, so it's different, really different from our hammer. Our hammer, we hit, from there, but they use it to smash.
Shield bash?
Like a shield bash. We call that shield bash, but they, boom! So they will push that into her and then push her against a wall or whatever. Now, once I have her against the wall, then I can rock or him or whoever with knees, elbow strikes, or whatever I'm going to do. Okay? So that's elbow smash. Or he may be up like that with his hands up, and before he can even throw the punch, come in. So it's a real aggressive, boom. Just smash in with your elbow. Okay.
It's kind of effective.
Yeah.
You're on the outside, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Kind of effective.
Yeah. So that can work. That's one of them. We're showing you effective one. When he goes to elbow smash, he goes to elbow smash.
Is that just a...
No,
like
elbow
this?
Smash. Like
Oh,
this.
okay. I didn't see
When
that.
he goes to elbow smash, he's open now. What I did was 1, 2. I can parry that. Let's brush that out the way. And then I come up underneath him, right? Under his arm. That opens up his side. Now I can either pull a tool and gut him, or I can, work him with uppercuts or whatever. So his rib cage is here. If he's more turned to the front, I can hit his liver, whatever, because I have him open there.
Yeah.
So once again, he tries it, and I'm gonna boom. I want to go aim at his elbow. I aim at his elbow. That puts him off balance, and it keeps his strike away. I can step forward with that if I want to, or he can catch me. I can just move off to the side a little bit. 1, 2. I'll do it faster at combat speed. That's how that's done. You see, he's off balance. Now, boom! I can hit him to the ribs, or I can pull a tool and cut him. Whatever I have to do, or I can just push him and take off. Okay.
Push and pull.
If I don't want to get myself in trouble, or
Can you hit that light up a little bit? So
I do want to live. So if it's SWAT or whatever,
right,
trying to push me into a wall or whatever, I can 1, 2. Now he's pushed,
right,
and then I can take off. Okay. So
could work
that's
too if you're dealing with multiple opponents, and
it can work. If you deal with multiple opponents, then footwork is key.
Yeah, well,
I can move them off like that, and then deal with the next one. Right.
Footwork.
Now, the next. Round kick.
You want a round kick?
Yeah, round kicking. And then we'll show you the defense against that. So they're going to round. Do you know how to round kick?
Is it just?
Yes.
That's pretty much it.
They'll round kick to the outside of the leg, like she did, or to the inside of the leg.
I can show you that. Yep.
Or now, in the Army especially, I don't know about the Marines, but in the Army especially, they'll round kick you to the torso because they're hitting you in the liver. You ain't got to kick up that high, but
especially you kind of short, so you ain't
right.
So plant. Do they stick the foot out like that?
No.
When they do it?
So this is done by Japanese.
Right. They round kick is all that, right?
Right. No. So they just
Just a pivot.
Boom. Just a pivot as they're kicking. As they're kicking, boom. Drive down. Okay. They do not kick upward. That's Taekwondo. That wasn't taken from Taekwondo. They've taken some stuff.
They left that.
They left that right. And they kick down.
Which is what we even do that.
Or they kick sideways. Okay, like if they kick it to the torso. So they kick down, down. Now, he kicks to my outside. When he goes to that outside, what I'm going to do, go ahead, go to the outside. I go to the inside.
That's a bad
That's called a cupcake. He goes to the outside, boom, I go to the inside and kick his leg. Use right above the knee. That's going to break him down.
You got to be moving for that. You turn us a little bit down so they can see this just a little bit there.
The light.
No, not the light, but the screen. Yep, just a little bit. Yep. So I go to kick him.
Boom!
Yeah,
I kick him.
Bad day.
Okay. So he's doing a round kick. I'm doing a round kick.
You got to be moving.
Boom! There. Okay.
And taking my space.
Right. When your foot comes down, it doesn't retract. It just comes forward.
Same way to me.
Okay. He may retract his or whatever. I don't care. He's really not going to get that chance to, because I'm going to try to take him off his foot. Now, my son was cupcaked by a student named Boomy. When they were going there, she was, boom, kept cupcaking him every time he moved. It was beautiful. It was when he became an assistant instructor.
Yeah. And
it was nasty.
Yeah.
She kept, boom.
Women have strong legs.
Yeah. Kept
stronger than men.
It was strong and quick, and it was nice. So.
We miss you, Boomy. Come on back.
I thought about Boomy the other day.
You saw it the other day?
I thought about him.
Oh, she asked about class.
Yeah.
So I guess you're going to come, but she really hasn't gone.
No.
She just be busy with the children
and all that.
The two babies. So once again, he's kicking to my leg. He's kicking to my leg. And I say, no, that ain't happening.
That's the agreement.
And I come forward, boom, and kick him to his leg.
Kick off. I'm off balance. I'm on one leg.
That's cupcaking, okay? And that is taking.
The greatest defense is against that round kick.
Yeah. Now, if he's kicking to the inside of my leg,
so cool.
He's kicking there. Now, I could cupcake, but if he's kicking like that, I just raise my leg.
That's ugly. I
raise my front leg, if he's kicking at that leg, and just stop that in his tracks. Okay? We'll do it again. Come forward. He's kicking. I raise it. Now, what I'm going to do, after I raise his leg, then I drive a punch. Boom, I got the uppercut there. I've got a number 10 punch. You don't worry about that when I say number 10. I got an uppercut there. I have a straight punch there.
What he didn't show you is when he came up, it's just natural for him. When he put his leg up, he came down. He didn't do it with any force, but he came down on my leg, on my foot. That's stopping me from moving.
Don't worry about trying to do that. That's
called we call a nugget.
Right, it's a nugget, and it's instinct for me.
When you do the technique so right, you get all that into it.
So I go again. He going to kick, and I raise my leg, come down. Okay, when I come down, I should be throwing a punch, either with this hand or with this hand. If his back is turned like this, because he's off balance, then I don't have to hit, because I'm not giving him a massage. I don't have to hit there. I can throw an elbow, or I just hit with this hand. Okay? So that's against the round kick. Shrimp. Oh boy. We'll do shrimp last. Negro choke.
Negro choking.
Now we call this a Negro choke, but we don't call it a Negro choke.
Okay.
We call this a Negro choke because this is how Muds were choking in the hood.
Yep, that's what they do. You grab your wrist, you grab your hand, you ball a fist.
Now, that would choke me if I didn't know what I was doing. So first, stay calm. Turn towards the bender's elbow. So go again. Turn towards the bender's elbow.
Immediately.
And now pluck. So take your hands like C's and pluck. Put the choke on. So now I pluck down. So I put my hand like C's in there, in this arm. And then I try to elbow backwards. That puts all this room here. I'm no longer choking. You see, I'm no longer choking now.
Elbow.
And he was choking me. Now, from here, come forward. You can throw, or, which I like to do, or you can turn.
Still got my arm in a bad shape, and I'm going down.
I go behind his leg,
and
then I my thigh to his thigh, back of my thigh to back of his thigh, and then I turn, and that throws him. I'll go again. So first I get out. Now I turn towards him.
I won't get a chance to punch. I won't get a chance to do anything because I'm off balance.
My thigh to his thigh. And then I throw him. I throw him by just turning.
Doesn't take any strength.
And he goes over.
Just movement.
Momentum.
So they will try to Negro choke you. And you get out, come around, and you're done.
Fulcrum, right? Probably.
Yes, you form a fulcrum by putting your thigh to his thigh, your back of your thigh to his thigh, back of his thigh. And then I pull him over it to down him. Okay? That's how you get out of the Negro choke. Knife versus knife. You got training eye? You got no?
I do not.
So we won't do that one. Because I got a real knife, so we won't.
Yeah, we have to show you that on the Patreon. You got your training knife with you?
Now I got, this is a real, this is a birthday gift. That's Damascus steel.
That looked too nice. I'm afraid you might get happy with that.
Well, I could do it with a regular marker.
It's purple.
That's cool. So, I have a knife. He has a knife. Right, his knife's larger than mine. So, knife against knife. He's using the left hand. But no, it's cool. It's cool. Whichever hand you want to use.
Well, I say most people right-handed, so
they are.
So we do right-handed.
Okay, well,
everybody can be
right
special.
against right. Now, in movies, you see Army like this.
Oh, right.
And they do not.
Oh, wait a minute. You mean like this?
Yeah, like that to your right. Right. No, sir. So you hold it in a standard grip. Now, I can show you what to do in this reverse grip, but I'm not going to do it today because that's not right here, so that's not standardly what they do.
There we
go. Okay, so first knife strike, one, then we'll do second. So he does, this is called for us a number 3 angle. He does a number 3 angle. I'm going to cut his flesh and meet his arm. Then open and you can see what happens now.
Yeah, I'm getting rammed.
He'd best be blocking too, and then I just come up to his throat.
Still gonna happen.
Okay. Number 2.
Which is the most popular, these are the most popular angles that people gonna take with a knife.
So what you're gonna do
that they can't see.
is you're gonna step
We need to turn those. Yeah.
I was just saying they can't see the two.
You couldn't see your angle from that side.
So what I'm going to do when he throws that number 2, I'm going to throw a number 2 into his inside wrist.
Number 2 is just this way. The 3 was that way. The 2 is this way. I do number 2.
I do a number 2. Then I take his arm down, still holding that knife. I'm pushing it towards him, and I cut him as I do so. Okay. Then I cut him up top. If he has it blocked, I cut his fingers.
That's easy, yeah.
And then I cut him on the other side. But I always had that knife towards him.
Because that threat, that's the threat of pain. I got to pay attention to that.
Right.
And while I'm paying attention to that, my energy directed there, I'm getting.
And it's not at me. Because I don't want to do this and I get cut.
Right.
I'll push it towards him.
That makes me move a little bit.
But I'm assuming you're not going to get in a knife engagement with somebody. I hope. But what they were talking about earlier, these militias are training.
Yeah.
Now, we'll probably do a whole episode on the knife because they may be coming with knives. Well, they are going to be coming with knives.
For sure.
But they may be using them against you. If you don't have, he has a knife. I got my hands. This is a very dangerous situation. Don't think that you kung fu master and you can just break him down. He got a knife in his hand.
Don't try to kick it.
No, do not kick it. If you try to kick it, he will cut your femoral artery and you're going to bleed out.
If I'm not that good and I don't cut your femur, I'm going to cut your foot. Either way.
So now he's trying a 3. What I did was I'm with the 2 C hands. I'm scooping it out of the way. And then I'm breaking.
Turn this way so you can see it again from this side.
So I scoop it, push it towards him.
That's going to give him a chance to do something.
And then I break or I crack him. But remember, if you hit him with 2 hands, there's no hand on that knife.
Right. My jerk reaction could stab.
Yeah, a knife is very dangerous now. So, boom, boom. I could, boom.
I already know.
And, I can bring him down from here. I can bring him down here.
You're trying to teach basic, very
But,
simple.
yeah, very basic. Like, now they will meet you basically with a basic strike.
Right.
And so you can meet them basically.
Yeah.
Now this, I'm cutting.
Yeah.
You can actually see the cut there. I can cut there if I wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
But the whole thing is, if the reason I'm doing my hand like that, if he starts to jerk away or something, I can tighten that into an actual grab.
Yeah, well.
Okay. Now I can move that outside of my body. And then we're doing now arm bars and stuff like that. So I could take him down. I could do different stuff to him. If I take him down, that hand is grounded.
I'm sorry. I looked down at his shoe, and his shoe right here got sit held.
That hand is grounded, and this hand is trapped. So I'm in no danger of getting attacked now. And then I just step out more and put him on his face. Okay?
The last thing I'm gonna see is sit held.
Yep.
You didn't get to see those excellent reflexes of mine just now. They were right there. Right there in the face. Oh my goodness.
That's a little bit of knife against knife. We'll have to do a whole episode of that.
Right.
That doesn't do justice to what you can do and what you shouldn't do.
Right. But definitely train that. These 2 angles is what you see all the time.
And also an inside, number 2. I'm catching them with a number 2. I'm catching it the same way.
Turn this way so they can see that. So the number 2 angle, again, that's that way.
That's number 3. That's 2.
So
I am stepping my foot out.
footwork, that's all technique.
And then I'm catching his arm. Then I push his arm towards him.
That's bad.
and now I can push him away, and I'm out.
Because I will be off balance trying not to get cut when he pushed his knife
Right,
towards
and
me.
I push him out the way. Once again, he also is wearing, if he's military or SWAT, he's wearing about 30 pounds of extra weight on him.
Right, so that momentum can keep me going for a second.
Right. So that's what you're doing with those two things. Train those, and then we'll work on more. But like I said, a knife is dangerous. I'm not guaranteeing you're going to stop a knife. I will not do that. I will not, because if somebody does that against me, they're going to lose. Once you touch my hand, it's moving somewhere else.
Right.
So I don't ever want to lie to you. Now, shrimp.
So it's best to make sure that you're
But you know something.
Right.
And carry a tool.
Yeah, bro.
If you don't carry a tool, you're always going to be empty-handed against a knife.
And if your situational awareness is high, your chances of somebody pulling that knife on you, catching you, it lowers significantly. So
right,
get that up.
So get you a tool. If you can't carry a knife in the state in which you live, which most states now I think you can.
Yeah.
But if you can't carry a knife, carry a pocket stick like you saw. Show them that pocket shark again. Carry a pocket shark. This is a marker, but it's made out. It's called pocket shark. They cost about $6-7.
It's made of polymer.
It's made out of polymer. It's an actual marker. You can take this on a plane.
Right, where your tactical pin can't go. That can go.
Yeah, tactical pin cannot go on the plane. They will flag that. But this can go on the plane. And I know that because I've taken many.
Right. So,
this is polymer, meaning you hear that? It's hard.
It's not breaking.
It won't break. So it can break your skull if I hit it, but it will not break itself. Okay? So get yourself a pocket shark.
Those fat metal Sharpies, right?
Yeah, the metal Sharpies, you can get those too.
From the art supply store.
But the thing with the Sharpies, they're about an inch shorter. So you don't have or more. So with me, I don't have as much length on it because of my hand size. Mm-hmm. This is a good size for me.
Right. Give you a little pummel.
I got a right. Exactly.
And the small hammers too, right, Bobby?
Yeah, stubby hammers.
Yeah, if you can't carry a knife.
And if you watch the show for a while, you've seen me work with the stubby hammer. You know, that's another tool you can carry. Right. And anybody can carry a stubby hammer. Because you working on
or you're
your house.
You're on your way.
Right, to working on your house or working on a friend's place.
Well, that's what I say. None of my knives are used for attacking it, but they letter openers,
box cutters.
Yeah. Opening letters, opening boxes. You know.
Yeah. Opening boxes.
I need to hit the ground for the shrimp.
You know, it's called and by the way, the box. This is called the box of the face. So just so you know.
Right.
Yeah, I open boxes too. All right. So yeah, you get down. Now shrimp. He's going to shrimp to get out. Okay. Usually, we think that this is over. I got him.
That's the end.
I'm on top. And that's the end of it. That's not the end. Because he can shrimp out of this. Now, up and over escape is actually easier.
Yeah.
They don't teach that at first. They teach shrimping. So elbow escape, really. So you're going to shrimp one side. He's shrimping. And he's going to bring he's going to bring his knee up out of there, right, like that. And now bring it around my waist. Ah!
You good?
And now you shrimp the other side. No. Bring it around my waist. Around my waist.
My fault. Yeah.
Now he shrimps the other side. And and I'm trying to. I can't hit him. I can't do nothing because he's all crunched up. And now he bring the other leg under. And he brings that around my waist. That's shrimping. And now he has the upper hand actually, because if we turn over, he be in the mount.
Right.
So he has the upper hand actually here.
Bring him closer.
He can bring me closer. He can push me away. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now to get out of, to reverse the shrimp. Let go. So I would get out of this. I would escape that because I don't want to be caught in that. But two ways to stop the shrimp. Come down, son. If you're here, you just mother ever, and you feel him about the shrimp. He's about to turn. You can now slide up his body. One knee up. I just move this knee, and then move this other knee. I can fight his hands. I can move up. Now he's not shrimping out of this.
Yeah, ain't no shrimping out of this.
Because I'm up under his arms.
So when I move, I'm not getting that.
Right, he ain't getting nothing. He's just trapped under. He's trapped by my legs. Okay, so you just gotta scoot up. That's the simplest way. But if he has his hands down, he's stopping me from moving up. He has his hands down, so his elbows are stopping me from climbing up. That's why I said you gotta work your way up his body. You gotta fight his hands.
Get him off your thigh.
Then you can go up. Another way to beat this shrimp. When he shrimps, I pull my knife. You see it? He doesn't.
I don't see the knife.
And then I stick this knife right
in the back of my neck.
In the back of his head, right in the back of his neck, and twist.
No more shrimping.
No more shrimping. Well, he shrimp. He
no
shrimp
more
on the Barbie. Put the shrimp on the Barbie. But that is if you want to kill the man.
Right. True combat.
It depends on what's going on.
Right.
If he didn't punch my wife in the face, knock her out, I assume she's knocked out, she may be dead. And now I get on top of his mother, and now he's trying to shrimp out. Well, he's going to catch this. Okay, in many ways, not just to the back of his neck, because I'm mad now. So, and yes, I can be mad.
And be controlled at the same time.
And controlled, right. Be mad and say, okay, I'm not going to be mad. I'm going to kill this dude. Then I'm going to be mad. So, all right, that's it.
Brittany Bowman says, geez.
That's what I was thinking when the knife came out. Geez,
so,
indeed.
You know, if you want to do it, you can do it. I'm not your judge, right? But would I do that? Yeah, if I had to.
Of course.
Situations will dictate what you do.
Norman says knives are potentially as dangerous as guns.
Oh,
Depending
please,
on
yeah,
the
we
situation, the
we
knives
know
are
that.
more dangerous than
Right.
guns.
The one thing about a gun, it requires it to be pointing at you. A knife does not.
3 people in the room. You got the gun. You got to make decisions.
Right.
While, you know.
This knife here?
You hold it out the way.
Shit.
Me and Amaniki are in danger right now.
Right. Right.
He ain't even pointing.
So.
Not me. I was raw in high school.
She's just raw.
I'm pre-trained.
What she do is hit my hand. I drop the knife and everything. Get my training.
You're raw in high school. You can do
it. That raw high school part, man. That's what scared me when I was in high school. They said, "You a martial artist?" I'm raw. And I was like, "Oh shit!" Shit, I back up.
And if you blood raw,
oh,
boy,
so
don't even mess with them.
thank you. I've seen you too before. Thank you. So that is if you had to protect yourself against those trained in MCMAP, MACP. Now we just dealt with the surface. There's a whole curriculum. The brown belt MCMAP is 160 techniques.
Right.
And there's 4 unknown levels of
No,
black belt, right?
that's MCMAP, right. That's right. It's 4, and black belt is 160. Then it's unknown what the higher levels are.
They probably doing
Advanced Krav Maga.
Yeah. they throwing all that job away when they get
all that
advanced.
shit you learn back then.
Right, exactly. So,
that's why they keep it under wraps.
Now MACP, it has the 4 levels. Okay. When I was in the military, it went up to level 2, as far as I know. Right. There was no level 3, level 4. Now it's at, it advanced more. It was just level 1, level 2. But level 1 has always been the damn shrimping. Shrimping. I hate it because it's a simpler way to defend yourself.
This is a great book if you like to get a jump start on improvised weapons and tools. Improvised tools. Learn to protect yourself, even if all you have is a cup of coffee and a donut. Never unarmed.
That's all right. Now, I'll say this. I used to go to work every morning with a large McDonald's coffee. Now, I drink coffee, but I don't drink McDonald's coffee.
But McDonald's coffee used to be the hottest coffee.
Right. McDonald's is the hottest coffee. In fact, a woman got rich of suing them. So I used to go to work with that.
SPI manual.
So if anybody accosted me on my way into work, I just give them that coffee to the face, pull my tool, go to work.
Improvise.
I have similar techniques in the place where I work. There's a lot of hot water around.
Because you raw anyway.
Just naturally, But then also I come up with things because I work in a hotel. And, you can be alone sometimes, right. Especially early in the morning. It's downtown Atlanta. People sneak in. Like I said, I got too many stories.
No, if you think you love Starbucks.
I love coffee.
Oh my goodness! Now that maybe that is
that's
the
where
special
you seen
forces addiction. Norman.
That's where you seen them at. No,
Starbucks.
Yep. Now the thing about Starbucks,
coffee with his pinky.
Me and my daughter Yemi had stopped drinking Starbucks because they supported Israel. My wife was still drinking the damn coffee, so she just tempted me. I said, "Damn!" So one day we were going, and so me and my daughter were drinking that. What the hell is it? I should call her down here. We drinking at this other place, but we weren't nowhere near it, and there was just Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts. Now, Dunkin' is now part of Burger King, so I'm like, really? Them too. Yeah, they had this Dunkin'.
Wow.
Yeah. So I don't think all over the place, but yeah, they probably are on like right.
Corporations.
So I said,
like 2.
I told my wife, go ahead and get the Starbucks, man.
Hey,
damn it.
Well,
and then my student gave me $50 Starbucks gift card for my birthday. I said, God damn it.
Can't escape it, man. Can't escape it.
I get out and they pull me back in. Man. So I,
They all ran by the imperial elites.
Do y'all like Starbucks black coffee or y'all be getting the sweet drink?
So
I love how that is.
I don't know what the sweet drink is.
Yes, you
I'm a real coffee drinker, so I drink flat white.
I do know that now.
Flat white is when you have extremely strong espresso, and you mix that with just a little bit of foam.
I would never get to sleep,
Mm.
ever. And the cup is like this big.
Now I get 2 of those big cups and fill my thermos upstairs. I have a 40-ounce thermos. Y'all seen my green thermos?
Yes.
I got a bigger one than that now.
I got a bigger one.
That stainless steel thermos is like God. So I fill that with 2 of those ventis. I can fill it with 3, but I don't go that far. I fill it with 2.
It's a whole show we could do on.
And I was gonna say, this is also an improvised weapon. If you think about it, I always have my metal. I have 2 or 3 of these, but I always have this with me as well when I'm working. You know, we talked about the hammers and if you can't carry.
Oh, and speaking of
knives
that,
where you live, you know, you got to be thinking about other things that you definitely can't.
My daughter Okikiola lied on me yesterday. No. So my granddaughter, which is my daughter's niece, she hit my daughter in the head with a jack-in-the-box, metal jack-in-the-box.
I'm not gonna laugh.
I said, "Oh my God!" So my daughter looked up. She said, "She's looking at it. You hit me." I said, "I did not. You know I didn't." She said, "Yes." And so me and my daughter were cracking up. I said, "I did not." She said, "Yes, you did." Yes. I said, "No, and you know I didn't. You know it was your niece, but you don't want to blame her. You want to blame me."
Personality.
Yes.
So her and my niece are almost the same age. My daughter is 4 months older than her niece.
The niece that I
yeah.
Oh, I love her so much. She's the cutest.
Yes, she is.
Yeah, that's Mina. So my daughter is Okikiola, or we call her Kiki, and then my granddaughter is Mina, Zamina. We call her Mina. You can hear my daughter now.
It sounds like she says Mina just now.
Yeah, she probably did. You probably heard me say Mina. Make your own
mace.
Oh, make your own mace. You know chemistry. That's Aaron. What's his name in this thing? He knows chemistry. He's a chemist.
Oh yeah.
And my friend Milton Davis is a chemist. But every time I try to get him to make me stuff, he just laughs. Although he does do polymers. I said, "Hey man, can you make polymer weapons?" He said, "I'll do that, but I need you to give me a mold."
Is that like 3D printing? Or
No, actually molding, putting the pot like that pocket shark,
okay.
The swords.
We gotta put him to use a little bit.
Yeah, we just gotta get some molds made.
Elusive views. We need some.
That's what's up.
Yeah. Now who know how to make gun rounds? Who know how to make? That's what we need to get up with.
Right.
Milton
do too?
Yeah, Milton's a shooter. So
what? Milton be sitting here holding on to stuff.
You cannot put this information out here like this.
I mean, hell, he'll talk about in his country boy. Yeah, I'm a shooter. Man. I like to shoot, and I make my rounds.
Milton does not talk like that, y'all. He does not talk like that.
You know, the other thing since we're talking about mace, I'm sorry, it reminded me of the other thing that I was going to say about being outdoorsy, because that's kind of something I've been doing more lately with my son, especially is getting out more, just to get fresh air and also to be used to, our equipment that we have. So one thing that I have seen recently, actually yesterday, was a video of a bear near a shopping mall. And the bear was running around he
was shopping?
No, it was not. But it looked like he was almost about to run into the doors and actually go into the mall. But this is outside the mall. And people in the comments, some of them were sisters talking about, oh, poor bear. And one of them actually said, oh, it's a black bear. He's harmless. He's scared. Look, I'm like, you don't understand what you're talking about. A bear?
Yeah, if I owned first of all, a bear can kill you whether you're black, brown.
Yes.
Right. Bears are dangerous.
Now, a black bear, you can against a black bear. Do not do that against a grizzly. He takes it as a challenge. He'll tear you apart.
Right.
But I will say,
and that's the black bear's not scared of you when you do that. It's just not as aggressive as a grizzly.
And
so it's like
walk off.
Yeah, it's not.
Ain't gonna be scared.
Yeah. Oh, look at it. That's not what happened.
Now, I wouldn't lock my doors. It can smash the doors.
Right, exactly.
So I just be like, I'm gonna hide, but I'm not.
Vehicle.
I'm not gonna lock my door. It can pull the car door off. It can
out-climb you.
Right, it can out-climb you. It can outrun you.
Yes.
It can bust the door down. So I would keep the door unlocked. So maybe just push my door open and come in. But I'd be hiding like a mug.
Yes.
I would hide in a car. I got a problem because you can't hide in the car.
Hope you got bear mace.
Right.
Man.
And that's what made me think of it.
And you better use it quick.
We're going to be
very
in the woods.
fast.
They have beer horns and beer spray.
Had Milton sound like stink meaner.
Stink damn it.
It's stink meaner. God damn it. The cloud. Fuck the cloud. It was clouds. No, from Boondocks. It was.
Oh, that one. Okay, I'm thinking about it.
It was. He ate dolphins, rainbow. Goddamn dolphins. Fuck the dolphins. You know.
And Pops.
Well, he sounded like he sounds like Stink Meaner. Bring it down with a little deeper voice.
Lord have mercy.
Wow.
But he's a genius.
Maybe I haven't met Milton like I thought I had. Because I don't remember that.
Okay, look. Look up. God, what is the name of his? If you go you're on YouTube now. After this show, look up Milton Davis, Ngolo, Ngolo, because that's the book that me and him wrote, the comic book me and him wrote, and a film. It's an award-winning screenplay actually that me and him wrote. Look up Milton Davis Ngolo and listen to his voice. Watch all his videos. I recommend,
of course,
and listen to that voice.
Come back here next Saturday.
He reads stories in there and everything. I'm gonna go down to the shop, Johnny said. And then he don't sound that country, but it's country.
Warrior class respects you, Milton.
Yes, we do. But you are country.
You're watching sometimes.
He is country now. He's from where I'm from.
Right, he's country, but he don't sound quite that bad. You know. Now his mother does not sound country to me. No. At all.
That's why I don't sound that country.
Right. You know, right. But now your neighbor, oh my God. I couldn't even understand half what he was saying.
You told the dudes that was moving. That was
now do this here, boy. I'm like, what in the hell is he talking about? I didn't know what he was talking about. But his mother, his brother, him, you know, they straight.
They all right.
Right.
Excellent
but boy,
question, Brittany.
I don't know what happened. Let me see. Question: did y'all take the comic film to any fan convention? Oh yes. So we actually founded a convention. Was called originally SWAT Con, then it became Blacktastic Con. SWAT Con, SOB, State of Black Science Fiction, SOBSF Con, SWAT Con. But then it became Blacktastic Con. But we've taken and still do take the comic all over the country, dare I say the world. So yeah. So at one point, me and Milton were the top science fiction and fantasy people on the planet. Them doing Black Panther, oh my God. Yeah. Many people say, man, I know y'all we made such a stink about it not being blacks in Hollywood that we created our own characters, like Ice Cold Card.
And that's what you should do when you have a complaint about what's going on.
Right. Don't just complain, create. Right. And
don't beg.
Now Milton still is. I took 2 years off from writing science fiction and fantasy. I was seeing what was going on with the world, and I just the idea of writing science fiction and fantasy made me want to throw up. So I took a break from it, and I just was writing martial art books and stuff like that. And so now I'm getting back into science fiction and fantasy. I got to rebuild myself. It's like the world don't stop with you.
Right.
I was watching D.L. Hughley doing a speech, and he was talking about Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy at one time was the top stand-up comedian on earth.
Mm-hmm.
He said, but he's not that anymore. He hadn't done stand-up in 20 years.
Right.
He's great. He probably still has the skill, but he has got to prove it to people. Because nobody recognizes, some people don't even know who he is.
Oh, right. Yeah. One of the younger people who I work with, he was like, he never really heard Richard Pryor. He said he heard,
Ooh, man,
and he said that what he heard, he did not think was funny.
Wow.
And we were like, what?
Well, I mean, depending on what Richard Pryor
which
heard.
One he heard.
My nephews, they're 40 and 41. They had never heard of Bruce Lee until me.
Huh.
We don't realize how long Bruce Lee been gone.
Right.
And
Makes
so
sense.
Bruce Lee was gone when I was a little boy.
Right.
So
when I say Kung Fu Theater to a 40-year-old, they don't know what I'm talking
there's
about.
some people they're not into Bruce Lee's movies like that. I wasn't into Bruce Lee's movies, and I know who he is. Grew up, as a child, knowing about him and my friend doing JKD and all that. Until I got on Facebook and I said, "What's this thing about Bruce Lee so much? Why are people so into him like this?" And they started recommending different movies for me to watch. And I watched the movies and I said, one thing I could say about him, he's a hell of an actor. God, dog, he can act. I realized that the dude, Aaron Pierre, can really act. When he's doing the scene with the sheriff and he says something to the sheriff and the sheriff makes a look with his face and there it is. It's like he does this giggle type thing. Is there it is. And that's how people really do it too.
I love that root.
There it is. That's what I was looking for. I said, this dude can act. He can really act, and he can rock those fight scenes. So that was good. I did not think Richard Pryor was funny. He was a hurting man in his delivery.
A lot of them are hurting.
Well, yeah.
Those comics are in a lot of pain.
Now, Dave Chappelle is funny now.
Right.
When Dave Chappelle started out, he was doing just what you call white comedy.
And even still, I'm going to be honest with you. Dave Chappelle shows his comedy specials are funny. But if you catch him at a venue where he's doing comedy and it's not being recorded, a lot of it's not jokes. A lot of he's really
now he does not. Yeah,
but when he does a special, it's strategic and it is
when he
awesome.
did the show was how long did how long did George Floyd
right the 13 something
how many seconds he did that show, that was not no jokes in that.
Yeah. A lot of times that's what his around when he does stand up is like that. Yeah, a lot of times like that.
That's how comedians work on material. When they're in the small venues, they see which jokes work, and of course, when they have the big special,
also
they use just the stuff that works.
Also, it's just like kind of like what Norman Henry was saying. He didn't always do that, but he's at a stage in his life where
of course
he can give you he okay with just telling you how he feels about stuff straight out. Right. Just like even Baba talks about certain things he wouldn't have showed before that he shows now. Certain philosophies, you get to a certain stage and you just like, man, I done seen too much and done too much. F this, you know what I'm saying? I want this out. So that's what's happening with a lot of people these days. They starting to get fed up and they're at a point where
Aaron Pierre is supposed to be John Stewart, Green Lantern. Yes, he is.
Yes, he is.
He's John Stewart. And it's another.
I hope he don't turn out to be gay, man. And the reason I say that is because I don't have nothing against homosexuals. When you portray not to be a homosexual and are a homosexual, then I have a problem. And when Hollywood builds you up to be the man,
I'll tell you, John Stewart is not in the comic book.
No.
I agree with you, Brittany Bowman. It's funny that B-Lay just said that because
what
Brittany said, I am still trying to understand
grip on
the women folk.
Like, because he got those green eyes.
Well, I see a lot of gay dudes on social media talking about him, and that's what made me alarm me a little bit. They like champion him a whole lot, and I'm like, do they know something?
Yeah.
And he ain't telling us because that's just how it goes sometimes. So anyway.
Nah, like you said in Rebel Ridge, nah.
I believe him if he say nah. Cat used to tour with Jeff Foxworthy speaking. Oh yeah, Cat in the Hat. He was trying to get it. They try to get how they live, man. Comics. Listen, what's his name that I was telling you about?
Now there's some good white comics now.
Oh, some great white comics.
I can't remember his name, but I know.
You talking about George?
No, I was just talking about the comic.
George Wallace?
No. It's a white comic. George
Lopez? Oh no,
he's just Mexican.
George Costanza? Oh, that's
God, what is his name? God damn it, he's brilliant.
I was just telling her about this black comic that used to host Comic View.
Carlin.
Yeah, George Carlin.
Yeah,
that's it. Yeah.
I was just telling about this comic. Y'all know who he is. He kind of chubby. He pulls his pants up real high and does the funny his uncle at the barbecue. He's always done lighthearted comedy. And I always he did a Def Comedy Jam and he hosted Comic View. And I always just thought he was just lighthearted, good, he did an interview recently. And I think I told you about it. He talked about his dad was a Vietnam veteran and actually shot him twice in the back when he was a child. And a lot of black comics that I meet have a lot of trauma.
Yeah,
and they're not. I know a few comics that do pretty well. None of them are jokey funny like people.
Speaking of, watch our episode about comedy.
Exactly.
We had a comedian. George Wallace. Yeah, of course. Yeah, we had a comedian on our show.
Yes.
Odell.
Oh yeah.
Odell.
And
we gotta make sure we
rocking techniques and stuff. We brought him on because it was right after some comedian got attacked on stage.
It was Chappelle and then somebody else before Chappelle.
It was Chappelle. It was
right.
It was the one that's on Wild 'N Out.
Not Country Wayne.
Right. DC Young Fly.
DC Young Fly. He stomped out the dude.
Yep.
So
that was a good episode and a good technique to learn too on stage. Yeah.
Corey Holcomb.
Corey Holcomb.
I agree.
Now I did a show Corey Holcomb opened up for. And this is when he first started. Started out.
Black Jesus.
And he was, he was just starting out, but we had Corey Holcomb come in. He was, just being a local comic at that time.
Chicago.
Yeah. And I was rapping at the time. We brought him in. We had a martial artist do a demo. And he was talking about the martial artist started actually. Then Corey Holcomb came on. And he said the martial artist was fat. And it was so funny when the martial artist came in, he was drinking something, drinking hot chocolate, but Corey Holcomb said, what you sipping on, big boy? Soup? I started dying. I was dying laughing.
I really hate to see really big, out of shape martial artists, man. Instructors, man.
He was an instructor. He was 600 pounds.
I hate to see that, man. Because a big part of this thing is having to be discipline.
Yes, but he could do a kick where he could split his legs up and kick up to the wall.
I believe it. Can he run 6 feet?
Now he asked me. Well, we did a demo together. And he said, "Hey man, I want to jump and catch you with the scissors and bring it." I said, "Shit. Hell no, we'll go through the stage. Heck no, you ain't doing that." So he could go, but I wouldn't letting him do that to me, But we spar a few times, man, and I just whoop his ass and then we move on. Now, I would, but he would. One time he was throwing the kicks at my head and shit. So I threw a kick at his head. He's like, oh, snap, wait a minute now. I ain't never seen you kick before. I said, man, you know, I can kick high, but I don't want to kick
Right,
high.
not my
It's
thing.
not my thing. But yeah, now Sammo Hung could kick high, fight, and flip, and all kinds of shit. Right?
Indeed.
And he was a big dude. So
yeah, I'm not discriminating. I'm just saying I don't like to see it because I
it
think
is unhealthy.
It doesn't promote health and discipline
No, it does
when you
not.
see that. And that's just being honest with me.
And it can lead to all kinds of excuses. So he would always say,
yeah, but
he would always say, you know, I'm healthier than everybody. I'm healthier than you. I'm healthier than, especially after I had the stroke. See, I ain't never had a stroke.
Oh boy.
See, but you had a stroke.
I'm healthy and you.
Okay. I said, but if you run 20 feet, you're gonna have a heart attack, though.
Yeah, you ain't gonna have a stroke.
And that's not being funny. That's for real.
System failure.
When I say 600 pounds, now my daughters swear that he put poop all over their walls. He went to my ex-wife's house.
I knew we were supposed to cut the show too.
And no, it's the truth. She let him use the bathroom. And
explosion, terror.
Now they say he came in and it was just poop all over the walls and ceiling. I don't believe it.
I think he was gonna bend over.
All of them say it happened.
I think he was gonna bend over, get on the toilet, but before he could get all the way down, shit happened.
Before we wrap up, I didn't say much about the book because I thought Dilo was going to say something.
I didn't want to interrupt, Bob.
But this is also a book with lots of information that is very useful, including improvised weapons. And it is the USPI manual.
The urban survival. That's about surviving in the urban terrain. So a lot of people do survival courses about being out in the woods, which most of y'all Negroes ain't going in the woods. Mosquitoes start biting you, you're gonna go right back in the house.
And
so
if you think about not The Walking Dead,
and you may not get to the woods. You may not be able to go to the woods.
In your building. They're not gonna get to the woods. And urban survival is every day, not just when the shit hits the fan.
Yeah, well, it's a very, very.
And we're back to.
It's more of it's one of those things where if you're serious, about your survival, you really do need a book like that. That's one of the.
That probably is what happened to him. The shit hit the fan, exactly. And it ended up on the ceiling and walls. That's what happened.
Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button.
Yeah. And Brittany Bowman put up the shit emoji.
Did the enemy write that book? No matter we take from the. Oh no!
No! I wrote this book.
Yeah. These are all Bible.
Are you real?
No, he might not know you're an author though.
Right.
Which makes sense.
Yeah, that's true.
Because he's right. We do take from the enemy. Know a lot about killing, survival. We take what we get. We make the best part ourselves to understand it.
Yes,
I was just to mention that. When I was just to the side, it must feel like I would really feel. I'd be feeling myself if I had a bookshelf full of my books in it. Golly. I was looking over there at the bookshelf while I was stretched out. I was like, man, you couldn't tell me shit. You see that bookshelf over there? You trying to tell me something, boy? You can't be in my house talking to me. I got a bookshelf full of my books. So we appreciate Bible for being as humble as he can possibly be to be an author of over 140 something.
Not no 140. Over 40 books.
Oh, okay. I forgot to lose count.
I mean,
that's still the same. I mean,
among us is going to get to 4 books?
Right.
1 book.
More or less 40.
Right.
And then I'm always impressed by that. So we appreciate y'all.
Actually, I'm writing, just so you know, I'm writing a ice cold Carter cookbook. It's ice cold cooking, and it's dealing with health. It's dealing,
I love ice cold cook, the ice cold cooking show. I love it.
That'd be dope.
Ice cold cooks.
That is nice. I love it. All right, y'all. That was cool. And just real quick, because I do consider this to be one of the Bibles of urban survival preparedness. So just want to read in the back of it, just a quick part of it. This is written by Coastal co-chairman of the Urban Survival Preparedness Institute. The USPI Urban Self-Defense Manual is a complete guide to survival in the urban environment. The modern urban environment is rife with danger. It's rife with danger, crime and violence. Natural disaster, wars, and police terrorism are real life possibilities for which few people are prepared. Let me read that part again. The modern urban environment is rife with danger, crime, and violence. Natural disaster, wars, and police terrorism are real life possibilities for which few people are prepared. The home is no longer a place of sanctuary and heavily armed, militarized police have been conditioned to see people of African descent not as citizens to protect nor serve, but as the enemy. The USPI Urban Self-Defense Manual offers readers simple, safe, and practical advice on how to prepare for and react to dozens of life-threatening situations. Whether you're caught in the city during a major earthquake or police are terrorizing your neighborhood, it is always important to be prepared not just with equipment, but with the knowledge of how to survive in dire situations. The USPI Urban Self-Defense Manual equips us with that knowledge. Just like we see, if you've been watching us, or if you just watched the day for the first time, these techniques aren't brain surgery, but they are again, Bob put it beautifully, African martial arts is science in simplicity. And so is survival can be very simple, but if you don't know,
It doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist. So get this so you can know, and you can exist.
Absolutely.
So I just wanted to put that out there. And we appreciate
y'all sticking around.
Thank you.
Thank you, Norman, Brittany, Emmanuel, Eugene, I Manifesto,
Yes.
Spider-Man. I'm just doing it from memory.
And thank you, Emmanuel, for signing up to our Patreon. We're going to wait for the rest of you guys to sign up. We appreciate you,
Absolutely.
sir.
We got love for y'all, and we will see you next week.
Yes. So be careful out here, in there, wherever you are. Stay black or whatever it is that you may be. Love y'all. Peace.
Peace.
And yes, Jadarian, get the African Warriors Bible.
No, that's the real Bible right there. So it's the Bible, then there's the sub-Bible. There's the white man thing. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I out of all my books, the African Warriors Bible is my favorite.
I would say for myself, yes, I have to say that as well. That and Ice Cold Carter Love.
Well, yeah.
Dating tips.
Ice Cold Carter dating tips. All right.
Check out what would Amaniki do.
And yeah, what would Amaniki do is dope too.